This week I've been driving the 2025 Silverado Trail Boss. This is the LT with every option on it at about $72,000. Today we're going to drive it. I'll tell you what it's like to drive. I've been driving my kids to school in it. I'm also going to try to keep you guys till the end. We're going to put this on my spreadsheet for 2025. Now the Silverado I've been driving this week has a 6.2 liter V8 with 420 horsepower and 460 pound-feet of torque. However, you can get a 4-cylinder turbo with 310 horsepower. You can get a diesel with almost 500 pound-feet of torque, an inline-six diesel, I believe. And then you also have a smaller V8 option. But the V8, the 5.3 liter V8, is only about $2,500 less than the bigger V8. I don't know if I'm spending this much money on a pickup truck. I'll just get the big V8. But let me know if you guys would be opting for the smaller V8 or the diesel. Diesel is very, very tempting. I personally would not be touching the 4-cylinder turbo gasoline engine option with the 8-speed auto. I like this 10-speed auto, and all the diesel and the V8s come with this 10-speed. So that's the route I would be going. All right, so let's go and throw that down. This truck, well, it screams macho. Huge Chevy badge. We got the recovery points down there. There is a skid plate underneath. It's nothing fancy though, just blacked out. Z71 badge. Cool daytime running lights. Real macho hood. With a 6.2 liter badge on top of that black bezel on the hood. All right, we have these 20-inch gloss black wheels. I like the running board. That is an option. Without this running board, it would essentially be impossible for my children to get inside of this truck. So that's a huge, huge must for at least my needs. So you got this little step here for the bed. This also has the optional tonneau cover on it. This has a double folding tailgate. So if I press the top one, it's just gonna fold down the top portion of the tailgate. You can use that as, I don't know, doesn't Chevy advertise that as a desk or something? And then folding down the tailgate. You have a couple different bed options here on the Silverado. I believe this is the standard bed option. Ooh, we also have accessory power of 400 watts in there. And you also have that stick, which I'm not gonna mess with the tonneau cover right now, but you have the stick in there to help you get into the bed. So let's go and lift this guy back up. All right, towing capacity is gonna vary on this pickup truck. All right, but I just wanna get in the back of the truck. This week I've also had a Lexus LX hybrid, and the second row of seats is really, really cramped. So it's been easier actually to pick up my kids in the truck than a big family SUV. Just look how much leg space there is back here. All right, the windows are tinted for the kids. Pretty decent materials actually in the back seat. I know this is like a faux wood plastic piece, but doesn't look too bad. Now, let's get on the inside. We do have what? Secret storage in there? Maybe for a firearm or something. Go and close the door. Infinite leg space, essentially. Tons of headroom. You can see how this cuts out. Now, I don't have a sunroof in this truck, which is a bit strange for the price point, but that might be okay for some people. Kids have been kicking back here, and you can see this is made of a durable material. For me, that works because the kids will kick this to hell. So we got two vents back here, two USBs, and I'm a happy camper. My kids have been very happy back here as well this week. So let's go ahead and get in the front seat, where I'm spending all my time with the Silverado Trail Boss. Oh, I forgot to mention, we do have a 2-inch Z71 lift here. That is standard even on the base Trail Boss. So if you guys want a lifted truck from the factory, here you have it. All right, so let's get into the front seat. Materials are the same on the front door. Big Bose speaker there, Z71 rubber mats, lumbar control here on these leather seats. Getting in, I think the truck turned off on us. So let's go and turn it back on so you can see the intro screens. I do have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto wireless in here. So let's go ahead and put my phone in the wireless charger. I don't have ventilated seats. And these seats are not perforated, so you'd think I'd be getting real sticky in this truck. Luckily, it hasn't been super hot. 84 degrees, that's hot, but it's not disgusting hot yet. Here's our Android Auto that's pulled up, but you also have Google built-in, and I like having access to the built-in software shortcuts over here. I even put the 360 camera as a shortcut, which has been really nice for Carline, because this truck is too big for essentially Carline. But when you have 360 camera, and it'll show you where the wheels are headed, the front and the back wheels, it's really, really helpful. So I've appreciated that. I also don't have auto brake hold in here as I put it back into park. So when I come to a really long stoplight, I've just been putting the truck into park instead of, well, just keeping my foot smashed on the brake for a couple minutes. So it's not a deal breaker, but for a truck, it should have auto brake hold in here. Pretty customizable screen right in the middle. I mean, I've been getting 15 miles per gallon, but that's all city driving. You can see over 1,200 miles or so, it's been 17 miles per gallon, which is going to have a lot more highway driving. So yeah, you can customize this. I just kind of like keeping it on my fuel economy and whatnot. I do have a heated steering wheel. It works really well in here. Paddle shifters. You have four-wheel drive control over here, trailer control, headlight control. Luckily, that's not baked into the touchscreen. We still have knobs for that. You have a bed light, parking brake over there, which is not the auto brake hold feature that I'm looking for. Climate control has been fantastic. No ventilated seats like I mentioned, but the heated seats work great. USBs here on the side, heated passenger seat as well. Yeah, the climate control has been awesome. I love rotary dials. It's right here off the shifter. It's easy to use. I love the screen, love all these buttons here. I actually haven't used any of these buttons. Now, here's a weird thing. This truck doesn't have automatic windows, only the automatic driver window. However, if you press this, they all fold down, okay? However, I can't go opposite. There's no like roll all of them up. Instead, I have to hold all the knobs or all the switches at the same time, which is, it's a bit much if you ask me. All right, I don't know why I have auto windows on a base Corolla from Toyota, but not on a $70,000 pickup truck. Do not have a head-up display here. That would have been nice. This is a real basic area here. I'll talk about the trimmings when we start driving. Another 400 watt power accessory piece here. This has a rubber gasket at the bottom to keep your things from rattling, and as well as the light, as well as two USBs, two more additional. So there are 6 USBs in this truck, which is quite phenomenal. Materials on the dash are quite good, and we'll talk about how I despise these shiny trimmings here in a little bit. Volume knobs in a great spot. So yeah, let's go ahead and put this thing into drive and start driving the Silverado Trail Boss. All right, slapping her into drive. I love where the shifter is in here. I love that. It's a substantial shifter. A lot of vehicles nowadays are going to rotary dials or a cheaper feeling shifter, a smaller feeling shifter. Here it feels great. I'm real happy with the shifter. That, to me, that's important in a truck like this. I think, was it Ram that has the rotary dial? Toyota has a nice shifter, for example. I think Ford has a decent shifter. It's been a while since I've been in a Ford truck. All right, but yeah, one of the benefits of having the 360 camera here in parking lots, it's great to have, in my opinion. All right, especially like I said in Carline this week. Now, let's start talking about the smoothness of this truck. I was expecting the Trail Boss to be kind of a rough riding truck. It's a complete opposite. This thing's a cream puff. This is old school luxury ride quality. I was expecting a firm, solid truck that, I don't know, just feels like it's made out of solid steel when I'm thinking a Trail Boss. No. This thing is a cream puff. It's not what it looks like. On the outside, it's like this super strong, muscular truck with the engine is, but the ride quality here is soft and understanding and compliant and never wants to upset you. I almost want a more firm suspension in here. Like, this is full-on luxury soft suspension. Some people will love that. I really enjoy it for day to day, but sometimes when I push the truck, I wish it was a little bit firmer in the suspension. All right, do we get an opportunity to open up this V8? And the answer is sort of. It's seasoned. There's so many people down here. Okay, so recently I had a Cadillac CT5 V Series Blackwing. I think they just call it the CT5 V Blackwing. They took the series out of it. Anyways, this has the same engine except it's naturally aspirated, and the Cadillac Blackwing, it's supercharged. So the cool thing is, like, the transmission is just as good as it is in the Blackwing. Like, it's super responsive. It downshifts and goes, and the sound of the V8 is awfully similar to the supercharged V8 in the Blackwing. When you're just sitting at idle, you barely feel the engine. Now the engine will turn off at times, but it doesn't disrupt my experience. There's probably an on-off, yeah, it's right over here, auto start-stop engine button. I haven't needed to touch it all week because the engine is just so smooth and non-intrusive when it turns on and off. So Chevy's done a good job smoothing that process out. All right, so I'm gonna let this Volkswagen get a little bit of space in front of us. I'm slowing down so you guys can get a taste of that V8, naturally aspirated V8 here. Okay, 3, 2, 1, pedal down. Ooh. That, my friends, is American perfection. Love the V8 in here, and it's more appreciated now than ever because who's still doing V8s? I mean, I guess maybe in a Raptor, isn't there? The Raptor R has a supercharged V8. But Ford, you know, I think you can get the 5-liter still in that. I think Ram's completely abandoned the Hemi, which is a travesty. Toyota's completely abandoned their 5.7-liter, which is a travesty. And then you have the Titan, which is gone now. All right, so no V8 there. Getting into the brakes, I feel like this truck brakes really well, even though, so here's the thing. I talked about how the suspension's so soft. It is overall, but the front is definitely stiffer than the rear, which I think helps prevent a lot of nosedive when you're hard on the brakes. I really do like the brakes here. Very communicative, very linear, and good stopping power. Comfort. I'm very comfortable in here. Other than wanting to have some ventilated seats, other than that, I couldn't be honestly happier. Lots of room. My armrests are really, really cushy. The seat's cushy. I have good visibility in here. Ooh, one thing that's really impressed me with this truck, yes, I mentioned the luxurious suspension, but no, I don't have double pane glasses, but I don't hear anything. Even when I'm driving at 70 miles an hour in this truck, I don't hear anything. It's very quiet. Chevy's done an amazing job, I don't know, baking in some of that Cadillac Escalade sort of luxury to this truck, from the ride quality to the sound isolation and the NVH. Like, V8's purring right now, just because I can kind of hear it, but I can barely feel it. Like, I have to be trying and straining myself to kind of feel it through the seat. And that's like, once you have this V8 smooth experience, I can't ever imagine wanting to have like that 4-cylinder turbo in the Silverado. Yes, it's $5,000 less, but this is easily worth the $5,000 upgrade, from the sound to the power to the smoothness of this beautiful V8. No replacement for displacement, right? Now, the diesel would be a very entertaining option to me because I'm getting 15 miles per gallon. I know the diesel could probably be getting 17 to 20 in town, and on the highway, maybe it could be getting 25 to 30 miles per gallon. I love diesel. I'm glad Chevy still offers that 3-liter Duramax diesel. Now, it's down on horsepower, only 305 horsepower, but guys, diesels are known for their efficiency, their durability, and their torque. You could probably tow I wouldn't be surprised if you could tow the most with the diesel compared to the V8s, even though the V8s have higher horsepower. So we're gonna put recirculating air in front of us because this old Super Duty F250 or whatever it is in front of us smells terrible. Okay, so let's see how well this truck does at filtering out terrible exhaust from other trucks around you. Now, as I'm choking here on the fumes of this Ford, what has disappointed me this week in this truck? Well, it's actually very little. You might be saying for $72,000 it shouldn't, but here's the thing. I have plenty to complain about in mini cars. Like, watch my Lexus LX review this week. It's just so compromised, but that costs $115,000+. I have less complaints here. No, it's not as comfortable, or the sound system's not as good as an LX or a Lexus, for example, but what drives me nuts is seemingly the lack of attention to the trimmings in here. There's freaking high reflective chrome plastic around the cup holders, the shifter, the dash, around the screen. And I can't tell you how, and even the black bezel at the top of the screen, I can't tell you how many times, luckily it's overcast right now, but how many times I've been miserably blinded by the glossy materials on the inside. But not just that. The reflective black gloss, the piano black gloss on the hood of the truck has blinded me on several occasions as well. That is crazy. It's like they didn't test this truck and its high reflective nature in a sunny environment, which I don't blame them. Michigan isn't nearly as sunny as Florida, and they have lots of overcast. All of winter is essentially overcast in the Midwest. I get it. But like, one afternoon of me driving this truck, I'm instantly blinded. And it's like, how did that pass, you know, the testings of this truck? The high reflective materials in here are one, they don't even look good, and two, they are a health and safety hazard, blinding my eyeballs and potentially screwing up my vision and being a distraction while I'm driving. It's completely unacceptable. Outside of that, and having, you know, sunspots in my eyes half the week, I've been a very, very happy person driving this truck. The V8 is great. The transmission, it really likes those half presses of the throttle. It just goes. If you give it the full pedal throttle, it kind of stutters a bit, but the half press is what you're doing 99% of the time while you're driving if you need to pass someone, and it's so good. I also drove the GMC counterpart to this last year with the same engine, and I love that truck too. That truck's fantastic. I guess if you need more luxury, like ventilated seats, that might be the way to go. But this truck has been great. Now, it costs a lot of money. It better be pretty damn good, and it is. All right, I'll just be putting maybe electrical tape on every shiny surface that I have in this truck. It's just V8. It's just so good in here. Now, I would be interested in trying the other powertrains just to see if I'm missing anything. Definitely the 4-cylinder. I'm not interested in that, but the diesel and the smaller V8. I wonder if they make that smaller V8 sound as good as this one. Maybe you don't need to spend the extra money, and maybe you don't need, unless you're towing, maybe you don't need this bigger engine. And maybe, I don't know. There's a lot of maybes. It's cool that Chevy gives you so many different engine options. 4 different engine options. Like if I look at Toyota, it's just 3.5 or 3.4 liter twin turbo V6, and then hybrid V6, hybrid turbo V6. You know what I'm saying. So, Chevy knows how to make a good truck. I'm very happy with the Silverado that I've been in this week, and I've actually been preferring to pick up my kids from school in this truck just due to its sheer size for the passengers on the inside. Chevy, thank you for sending me this truck for this week. It's been great. It is a bit expensive, but maybe you save 20 grand to get the normal Trail Boss and get the smaller V8 and just call it a day. All right, Trail Boss, where's it going to stack up on the list? Is it a fire sale only? No. I think it's minimum solid buy. Is it an excellent purchase? Here's the thing. I haven't reviewed any trucks this year. Would I put it at the top of the truck game? Not necessarily. I was really impressed with the Inline-Six Ram Tungsten that I reviewed last year. Better than a Tundra in my opinion. And it's very similar to the Sierra 1500 that I drove, of course, right? They're the same platform. However, I like the looks better on the Chevy than I do the GMC. Sorry, Abe's in here throwing stuff around. So yeah, I'm just going to put it as solid buy. I think that's safe. And once I review more trucks this year, I'll be able to start filtering them in, right? Is one going to make it to A tier? Possibly. For example, I drove the Raptor R. Now that's very expensive. That's definitely S tier. You know, the Silverado, it was very expensive how I had it. I would love, here's the thing. If I test drove one and loved it just as much as this, but it cost 20 grand more with the diesel or with the smaller V8 on the non-LT Trail Boss, then maybe it would be in the A tier. But because it's so expensive, I'll just keep it in the B tier for now. All right, I think it's a good buy. It's a really good truck. It's not a fire sale, only nowhere close. It's better than these vehicles by a mile, and they're different. They're not even trucks, right? And GMC's, Chevy's own Hummer is a disaster, at least for how I like to drive vehicles. It's just, oh my gosh. So where the GMC Hummer EV SUV was loud, obnoxious, overly big, the Hummer felt bigger and took up more space and harder to maneuver in some ways than this Chevy pickup truck, despite this truck not having four-wheel steering, despite it being a V8. The V8 is quieter than the Hummer SUV because of the obnoxious noises it has. It's one of the worst vehicles I've tested in a long time. All right, so thank you guys for watching. The Silverado is a solid buy. I'll see you guys what you think about it. Would you be picking over the Tundra, F-150, etc., a Ram? The American trucks are all pretty dang good. All right, it's just going to depend on a lot of different factors, which truck's going to be good best for you. And the Tundra, no V8. The hybrid's okay on it. It's a fine truck, but it's not nearly as smooth, for example. Like the ride quality is pretty rough on the Tundra compared to the Silverado. It's like an economy suspension on a Tundra versus a luxury suspension here on this Trail Boss that I drove. It's a completely different feel. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you're subscribed. Abe throws more vacuums around. Make sure you subscribe for more car reviews, truck reviews here on the channel. They'll be coming down the hatch, and I can't wait to fill this list out as we go through 2025 together. Peace.